So, welcome to anyone watching this, either live or on the replay. I'm Wandering Alice, and this is a short introduction to restorative yoga, giving you a little bit of background to what restorative yoga is, as well as some of the props that you might need in order to practice. So if you're thinking of joining one of my restorative yoga lessons, then this is a good video to watch because you'll know what to bring so that we can get started straight away with the practice. So, restorative yoga is a very slow and relaxing style of yoga, and it originates from Iyengar yoga. And Iyengar was really one of the most creative yoga teachers to come from India, and he died in 2014, and I think he was about 96. So he lived a long and active life. So I think that really says there's a lot to be said for restorative yoga. So in restorative yoga, it's known for using props. So it's less about stretching the muscles, it's more about opening up. So you're using props really to ensure that you are pain-free and you're held within each pose, and you hold those poses for a longer amount of time. And so it's not unusual to be in a 1 hour class and only take between 4 to 6 poses in that whole hour. So that just gives you a little glimpse of the slowness and the gentleness that it can offer your body and your mind. If you're going to be joining my kind of taster 20-minute session of restorative yoga tomorrow morning, then you'll know it's obviously a lot shorter. So we're going to do maybe 3 poses that I'm going to lead you through, and we'll just hold those for a shorter time. But I think that's going to give you a nice introduction to restorative and see how you find it, see how it feels for you. And then I will be offering a 4-week course of 1 hour lessons for 4 weeks in restorative yoga. So if you feel that it's feeling good for you, then I'd love you to come along to those. So restorative yoga really is very peaceful. It's a very meditative style of yoga, and it's, like I said, it's designed to open your back, open your body rather than stretch. And I kind of like to describe it as a giant hug. It just feels warm and cozy and loving, and it does nurture feelings of compassion, both for yourself, but also when we are compassionate with ourselves, then that compassion naturally feeds out and radiates out into the greater world. It's very helpful for all kinds of stress relief. So whether you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, maybe you're recovering from injury, maybe you are navigating grief, this style of yoga is going to be perfect for you, because it's just offering you that time to stop, come back to yourself. And I know that when I personally was going through a very deep period of grief, slower styles of yoga were really the only thing that I could do. And it's about being gentle with yourself and just allowing yourself to be within these poses and to give this time to yourself. So it does deeply relax you, and it also will help with mobility. So because you're staying in these poses for longer periods of time, you are working on a deeper level. So yeah, I love restorative yoga. I've just completed my teacher training in restorative yoga, and I have to say it's one of my favorite go-to practices now. If I don't feel that I have time for anything else, or I don't feel up to anything else on a particular day, then restorative, I might just take 1 or 2 poses and just be still. So I hope that you are going to find some joy and some comfort from it too, because tomorrow our 20-minute class in the morning is going to be about calming and centering and starting our day on the right foot. So some of the props: you can buy bolsters and you can buy blocks, and I have bolsters and eye patches and things, but You can also use things that are just generally lying around your home, and that's what I wanted to show you today, because some of you might never have done restorative. So I just wanted to get together some props that I'm pretty sure you're going to have lying around in your home, so that if you're joining me tomorrow, we can just get going. So firstly, I picked up some sofa cushions off my sofa, different sizes. So for instance, we've got some nice big kind of square, and we also have some longer, thinner ones, a couple of blankets, so a nice blanket to throw over yourself when we're in our final shavasana, or even just sitting in a forward fold, you might bring a blanket over yourself. Blankets are also good to roll, so you might roll a blanket like this, a smaller blanket, and you can place that behind your neck if you have any neck pain, or you just want to add extra comfort. And it's all about comfort. Also, if you haven't got blocks, so you can pick up blocks like this in a sports store or online. If you haven't got blocks, maybe you've got some big books. So I just picked up a couple of bigger books that I've got, and these work well too. I do put a blanket over them to make them a little bit more steady, because the blocks are a different texture, so they feel a lot steadier, but you can still get away with the big books. Also, a yoga strap. For instance, tomorrow morning we'll start with a few shoulder stretches. So we'll take a yoga strap like this, and we'll do some stretching, you know, either way. But instead, if you don't have a yoga strap, you could just use a scarf. And I'll tell you another thing that's really good, are ties. So if you have an old school tie or something lying around, but whether you've got a tie, whether you've got a scarf, you might hold it, wrap it around your hands a couple of times to get the same benefit as we're going up and doing our stretches. So you could even tie a knot at the right length, and then you've got your strap like so. So a scarf is handy. And then if I just demonstrate actually one of the poses that we'll be doing, so a supported forward fold, it's one of my favourites. It's what I think of when I think of restorative being like a hug. So we'd put our legs out the front and we'd make a pile, a really comfy pile, to make our own tower. So for me, I think it's probably going to look like that, and then you could grab a thick book or a block, maybe a little blanket, and then we just basically hug into it and lower your head onto the block. And if it's not quite high enough, you grab another block and you pop it under. There should never be any pain in restorative yoga. So when you're holding a pose, the idea of being supported is that you're not in pain, you're comfortable, you're supported, you're safe. Again, if you're in this pose, you might roll up a blanket and pop it under your knee just for a bit of extra comfort there. Or, you know, you might take a cushion and just pop it a little bit under your bum. So it's really about using these props to find what feels good for you. You know, other things that we might do is we might lean back onto, so we might do reclining butterfly, and that would be a case of leaning back onto our chosen tower that we've made, bringing the soles of our feet together. So again, I need a little bit extra under there. Maybe I'll bring a block, and we'd hold it like this. And again, if you feel that your legs need support, you just get your pillows and you make a little tower here. And this way, I'm absolutely held here. So I'm not straining. I can feel that stretch, but it's not uncomfortable. I'm not in pain. I'm not straining. So, it's all got a bit messy here now, hasn't it? So for any of my restorative yoga classes, but especially if you're joining my taster 20 minutes in the morning, my suggestions are a yoga strap or a scarf or a tie. maybe some blocks if you've got them. If you don't have blocks, hunt out some thick books. A couple of blankets, one that's nice to put over yourself for final shavasana, or just over yourself, around yourself like a cape if we're doing the forward fold. And also to roll up, put under knees, put behind necks, anything like that. And then a selection of bigger cushions. If you've got different sizes, perfect, but if you haven't, don't worry. But just as many cushions really as you can bring to your practice. And comfy clothes. PJs are welcome because I'm going to be doing the class tomorrow early, and in fact the 4-week class that I'm going to be offering is going to be at 7:30 in the morning. So I always welcome you to practice in your comfies or your PJs. This is really an opportunity for you to give yourself the time and the opportunity to be calm, because you deserve it. So let's try and find that time together. It's an opportunity for us to heal. And a beautiful quote from my yoga teacher is, when our bodies relax, our minds can do nothing but follow. So I'll just say that again. When our bodies relax, our minds can do nothing but follow. Isn't that beautiful? So if we're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling overwhelmed or anxious, you need to relax your body, come to a state of calm, and the mind will slowly follow. So that is what is beautiful about restorative yoga. This is what you're going to need, everything that is within your home. And I hope to meet you on the mat. So tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. for 20 minutes UK time, live here in this group. The replay will be available, and I'll also be sharing a link beneath that for a 4-week restorative yoga course, which will be 4-hour lessons on a Tuesday morning at 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. UK time again. And they will be conducted on Zoom, but you don't have to put your camera on. So it's just a way for us to practice together. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and I hope to practice together soon. Namaste.